My name's Marita Thomsen, and I've had the pleasure and privilege of translating texts by William Heinesen that have been gathered into a volume featuring previously unpublished extracts from his notebooks and his correspondence, as well as some excerpts from novels and short stories and poems. The selection was made by Berko Rønne Måberg, and this book has just been published by IPI Press. Its title is The Wise Man from the Sea, William Heinesen on Time and Place, Spirit and Eternity. In fact, it's so recent that I still haven't received my copy, which I am dying to see. It has a beautiful cover because William Heinesen, in addition to being a prolific writer, was also a visual artist, and his paper cuts are stunning, as are his paintings. So in lieu of a book cover, I have this iconic paper cut by William Heinesen here behind me. Now, the extracts in the book feature texts. I think the first one's from 1922 all the way up to the 1990s, and I have chosen an extract from a letter that was written in 1964 to Eppa Hense. And in this letter, William Heinesen muses on human consciousness and life and existence. Human consciousness is, to our knowledge, nature's finest product and, among much else, an organ for eternity. Little may we fathom, yet we know we are of infinity's atoms. Your current, exceedingly fleeting and perishable self was, but a few years ago, a microscopic cell which at unfathomable speed underwent a biological process equivalent to the evolution of life over eons. The skittish sea anemone is your little sister, the starfish and olm your brothers, and not acknowledging the lancelet or turtle, earthworm or mole as your relatively close kin would be a refusal born of sheer arrogance. Indeed, even in the barely visible, glass-limbed baby spider who searchingly dangles over your stationery, you must certainly recognize something of yourself and your perplexing position in the universe. The lethargic life of the woodlouse in damp earthen darkness, the majestic voyages of the white-tailed eagle over frothy seas, the bee's temple service in the flowered chalice, all in one way or the other represent something in you. Here I have chiefly mentioned nice things, but the not so nice things, which we perhaps seek to repress, claim their place in our context. Otherwise it becomes too dainty. The world of horror and basilisks and all manner of viruses and bacteria without a trace of soul, yet invested with the power to exterminate entire peoples. Venomous flies and wily snakes, brain and heartless blood leeches with their evil infant mouths, bats reminiscent of winged fetuses, raging civet cats, and the insatiably bloodthirsty fair marten that continues its killing spree even after it's had its fill. What fellow creatures and kin! Thank God we humans rose above such stations long ago. The hell we did. Quite the contrary. We are much worse, with our judicial murders and concentration camps, and somewhere within you sits a Nazi like a secret tumor. Écrasez l'enfant. I could go on, but the brief meaning of the long speech is this. There is no phenomenon in earthly life and time which you are not in contact with, one way or the other, through the wondrous radar of your consciousness. And all these things from the dawn of creation are, mirabile dictum, still present in time and space. Your body remains an organization of single-celled beings. The imperative of creation clamors in you. Myths of floods and visions of doom wreak havoc in your dreams. The myriad symbols and figures of the history of ideas, the primeval cow Audhumbla giving life with her milk to the first human-like beings. The great dragon, the good shepherd, Pythagoras and Socrates, Jesus and Mary Magdalene, Thomas de Aquino, Galileo, Hume, Einstein, Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, Dr. Debes Johansen. Think of the theory of evolution what you will, but the great concurrency is definitely a fact worth proclaiming to the misanthropes associated with our time in the existential hell of their anemic loneliness. Life is magnificent. That magical intersection of past and present you are straddling with your living self's incredibly complex radar, which we term the soul. Immense is the wingspan of the soul, albeit also severely limited, yet more than sufficiently comprehensive for a human life. It sprouts and blooms for a moment in the midst of all things. Against this backdrop, how ridiculous the thought of our short-sighted closest relatives, penny pinchers, megalomaniacs, nationalists, and military idiots trudging about in their low-ceilinged world of materialism. They go grey stressing about their modern comforts, never noticing that by the grace of nature, they are equipped as fabulous microcosms. Fortunate are those who in inspired moments are able to elevate themselves to sense their humble and exposed, yet miraculous place in the middle of pan life. I chose this extract because I feel like it really encompasses the essence of the book, which is all about connectedness and hope and stoicism, in spite of the horrors and without turning a blind eye to the horrors of history and human nature. But it really is a call for us to be aware of how connected we all are, and how there is poetry and beauty if we look up long enough to find it. So I'd like to thank Translators Aloud and also Delt for featuring this reading. Thank you.